up.
Heavy rain today. Tropical rains arriving tomorrow from Fred, and that will linger into the middle of the work week. Your full forecast, breaking news and traffic coming up in just another hour.
Breaking news from overseas. Insane images of absolute chaos as thousands try to flee Afghanistan as the Taliban seizes control. This morning, I'm following all of those new developments as well as the growing criticism for the Biden administration. And terrible details coming in about an overnight crash on the interstate. What we've just learned as 3 people were killed on I-26. I'll let you know so far.
Plus, much better news today. It's the first day of school for several upstate districts, including all of Spartanburg County. What kids are in store for this school year? We have it for you in a live report. Plus, we are watching flood concerns this week as several inches of rain are expected from Tropical Storm Fred. I'll time out when the heaviest comes through our area coming up.
Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, August 16th. I'm Margaret Ann Carter along with Nicole Pape, meteorologist Kylee Miller, traffic reporter Chris Scott. Thanks so much for joining us on Fox Carolina. It has been a very busy morning here. We're going to get to all of that in just a moment. But of course, we want to start by looking at what we can expect as folks are heading back to school. Not out on the roadways just yet, but as far as our forecast, Kylie.
Yeah, to prepare for that, grab the umbrella, the raincoat, the rain boots. You're going to need it all, not just for today, but for these next few days. Scattered rain right now across the mountains, especially we're dealing with heavy rain near Hendersonville, so Henderson County, even into Transylvania County, dealing with some flood concerns there. We do have some flash flood warnings in place until lunchtime today for Transylvania County, just because we've been already receiving quite a bit of rain and more is on the way. So here is the latest on the tropics. We are still tracking Fred. It's a tropical storm as the winds are at 50 miles per hour, moving north at 9 miles per hour. It is expected to make a landfall in the Florida Peninsula, heading heading into the 7-8 o'clock hour tonight. For us locally, we will see heavy rainfall starting tonight, lingering throughout tomorrow and even our Wednesday. Today it's going to be some scattered rain for the start of the day. Then it will turn tropical by the second half. Temperatures returning into the lower 80s as you head home. So for your bus stop forecast today, it's going to be roughly in the 70s to 80s. Temperatures really not moving too much. I'll time out more of the hour-by-hour forecast in just a few minutes. Chris?
Kylie, thanks. We're getting back to regular traffic now that the I-26 accident that killed 3 people overnight has been cleared, and traffic's moving there. Seeing rain across Oconee. I guess Kylie just mentioned that, but right around the Martin Creek Road and Cotter Ross Creek Road area, there's an accident there to watch out for. Also in Greenville County, we have one at Anderson Ridge Road around Woodruff Road, and we're also following one over in Spartanburg County, this one around the Greenville Road and Johnson Street area. Cherokee County, you have a crash too. This one's at Vaughn Road around the Allison Drive area. So plenty busy out there on the roads with accidents around the area. Watch those school zones, Spartanburg and the other areas that are having school back in. Buses rolling, of course, today. I-26, this is the westbound lane. This is the eastbound lane at mile marker and exit 15, right around the Inman exit at 176. That's where the crash occurred earlier. That has now since cleared and all the lanes are now open. Mac?
Chris, we begin with that breaking news. I'm following that terrible news just coming in from the Spartanburg County coroner. We have just learned that 3 people were killed in the crash we've been talking about on I-26 eastbound overnight. This scene first unfolding around 2 this morning and just wrapping up less than 30 minutes ago. We were out there for hours overnight as crews worked to clear the scene there. Now we know that it was a 2-car crash. There was a massive backup, but finally things are back moving. However, the coroner sent an email less than an hour ago confirming that 3 people were in fact dead. But did say that he is still working to identify those victims. We'll of course stay in touch with him to get you the latest on that. Just terrible. And more devastating news out of Pickens County, where our crews remain on scene with investigators after 2 people were found dead in Central. Fox Carolina's Justin Dorsey has been gathering information on this double homicide. Justin, what have you been able to find out?
Well, we're still up from that home on Edwards Lane right now where deputies continue to investigate this morning. You'll see them here behind me as that crime scene tape blocks off the area. They're still down there. They've been walking around the property for hours now. Earlier, when we talked to you an hour ago, they were measuring off areas and talking about different things. What we know right now is the coroner confirmed that this is a double homicide situation that they are dealing with. And early this morning, early, maybe around 5 this morning, we saw 2 bodies being removed into transport vans and then taken away. Now, deputies also spent time here at the scene looking through an SUV and removing evidence from that. That SUV was later towed away, but we saw them take several bags of things out of there and put it into different law enforcement cars. Also, we saw suitcases and book bags being removed from that home. Deputies are still continuing to investigate this morning around the area. And we're going to continue to work to get you the latest information. And it looks like actually they're pulling up some of that crime scene tape there now. So maybe they're all wrapped up here this morning, but we're going to continue to get more information for you as this investigation does continue right here and online at foxcarolina.com. Margaret Ann?
And just a friendly reminder, you can stay up to date with our free Fox Carolina News app. All you have to do is search Fox Carolina inside your App Store or Google Play.
8:05 this morning, Fox Carolina is your school station, and this morning we're heading back to class with more than 50,000 students in Spartanburg County. Fox Carolina's Grace Runkle has been talking with leaders in District 7 and with some students. Grace, let's talk about that first day.
Well, the first day of classes is getting underway right now here at Carver Middle School. You can see a couple cars still dropping students off, but the first bell rang not too long ago, so those students are all making their way inside to their first round of classes. We know a lot of parents heading into the office this morning because one of the big changes they're dealing with this year is a lot of students from EP Todd are being transferred here to Carver. So they're adding about 200 more middle school students here to this school. So that's one of the big transitions going on this year. Now, we were actually able to take a tour inside the school building not too long ago and get a look at all the new renovations that were done over the summer. Part of these were done to make room for all of the new students. They got new furniture, a new office space, and a new cafeteria. We asked the principal, Nicole Thompson, about masking. We know that's something a lot of parents have been curious about. She says it's encouraged and told us many of her teachers have decided to start the year wearing a mask so students don't feel alone if they're wearing one too.
We know that it's important to focus on the social and emotional part of people. All of us have been affected by the pandemic, socially and emotionally.
Vaccinations are also going to be encouraged. DHEC, in fact, hosted a clinic at Spartanburg High School over the weekend. And of course, as the school year gets underway here in District 7, we'll be watching closely if there are any new COVID-19 cases, both among the students and among the staff. Nicole?
Thanks, Grace. Meanwhile, over in Pickens County, all students will work virtually beginning today following the recent rise in cases throughout the district. In the first 9 days of school, there are more than 600 students in quarantine and 163 have tested positive. As of right now, school officials say e-learning will last through Friday and they'll release plans for next week by Thursday. The district will also share more information to families regarding the week's plans today, and all after-school and extracurricular activities, including sports, are canceled through this week. Don't forget, if you have any back-to-school questions, you can scan the QR code on your screen and fill out the form. You can also head to the Fox Carolina News website and submit your questions there. Our team will work to answer them as quickly as possible. And we want to see anyone's first day of school photos before your student walks out the door this morning. Make sure to snap a quick picture. Here are some of the ones from this morning. You can send them to us at foxcarolinanews@foxcarolina.com or share them to our Facebook page at Fox Carolina News. We'll try our best to get them on the air right here on the Morning News.
Now to some breaking news out of the Middle East, where the Taliban is inching closer to taking complete control of Afghanistan. This is new footage from overnight showing militants inside of the presidential palace there in the country's capital city of Kabul. That happened just hours after President Ghani fled. Now the rebel group is expected to declare a complete takeover, renaming it the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, which was the country's name before the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And this is a look at the chaotic scene this morning as thousands of people desperate to flee the country crowded the airport terminal, some even running after and clinging onto departing planes. Right now, dozens of nations are calling on all involved to help facilitate the departure of foreign nationals and Afghans who wish to leave. Now, the U.S. Department of Defense is securing the airport's perimeter and taking over air traffic control. This comes as some airlines suspend flights or reroute to avoid Afghanistan airspace. Moments ago, I did learn that the Department of Defense will potentially relocate up to 30,000 Afghan special immigrant visa applicants to the U.S. A spokesperson with the Pentagon says that Fort Bliss in Texas and Fort McCoy in Wisconsin do have the capability to house those applicants. In the meantime, President Biden is facing some intense pressure and criticism. He's expected to address the nation in the next few days regarding the crisis overseas. The president, who is on his scheduled vacation at Camp David, took part in a virtual briefing with Vice President Harris and their national security team yesterday. The administration says that the next several days would be critical in determining whether the U.S. is able to regain some level of control over the situation. Make sure that you're sticking with us all throughout the morning as we continue to follow the latest from overseas, as well as our local developing stories. We're on until 9 and then back on again at 10. You can stay up to date with our free Fox Carolina News app and on all of our social media pages. Kylie?
Time now is 8:10, and for the big weather story, the tropics really heating up. We have 3 areas that we're keeping a close eye on. The first one, Tropical Storm Fred, that is going to strike the peninsula of Florida later on today around 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. It's moving north at 9 miles per hour. Then we have Grace, a tropical depression, but could strengthen back to a tropical storm here within the next few days. And then we also have Tropical Depression 8 that is very close to Bermuda. This is expected to stay in the Atlantic Basin with no threat to the continental U.S. I'm going to be breaking down all of these once again and let you know what you can expect locally in just a few minutes. Margaret Ann?
2 well-known pharmacies now administering newly approved COVID booster shots, but only for those with weakened immune systems. I'm going to run down that information for you coming up.
Plus, a new law now in place in South Carolina, and it's dubbed the Slowpoke Law, what you need to know before you hit the interstate.
Traffic alert, North Carolina, Transylvania County, seeing roads flooded. I'll detail what roads are in and are flooded and let you know more about that when we come back in traffic.
Now we want to get get you yesterday's winning lottery numbers. The evening pick 3, 605. The pick 4 is 0385. Both have a fireball of 2. The cash 5 is 5, 18, 26, 27, 29 with a multiplier of 3. You're watching the Morning News committed to you. We're right back after this.
You're watching Fox Carolina, the Morning News.
Welcome back. You're taking a live look over I-85 this morning. Traffic a little bit slow out there. However, it is moving. That's what we like to see. It's moving once again along I-26 after that deadly accident. 3 people were killed in that. Of course, just devastating. That happened along I-26 out in Spartanburg County. Something we're continuing to follow for you. We'll have updates throughout the morning on that. It's 8:14, and people with compromised immune systems can now get their 3rd coronavirus booster shot at select pharmacies. People who completed their first 2 doses of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine at least 28 days ago and have a qualifying condition can schedule their booster shots on CVS or Walgreens website. Just be prepared to show proof at your appointment. This all comes after the FDA approved emergency use just last week. The FDA says that this scenario applies to less than 3% of the population.
Well, Fox Carolina is your school station, so grab your pencils, your backpacks, and don't forget to snap a first day of school picture. Thousands of kids in Spartanburg County are filing in to drop-off lines. And Fox Carolina's Lindsay Gibbs is live from Cliffdale Middle School in District 3. Lindsay, it's a brand new school year. People are excited.
Nicole, and you saw just how crazy it was that last half hour when you checked back in with us. Drop-off was going on. There were a ton of kids coming around to the circle, walking for the first time in their brand new gymnasium. We even have one of the last school buses right over there finishing dropping kids off. We haven't seen a lot of kids on these school buses, but the parent line to drop off their children was extremely long. Now, I'm here with Dr. Max Deaton, the principal here at Cliffdale Middle School. So tell me, what was it like seeing all these kids again?
It was very exciting this morning, seeing their smiling faces. They're laughing, they're excited to be here, looking at the new school, coming in, just excited to be back on campus. And so it was also neat to see all the cars coming through, parents waving, high school students that had been in middle schools waving and talking to the teachers and the administrators administrators that were out here. So it was just an exciting time for everyone. Now all the students are in class. They're in their first period, getting ready to start their day, so it's nice and quiet out here on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell me a little bit, really quickly, just run through some COVID-19 guidelines that are going to be here at Cliffdale Middle School.
So all the guidelines they can find on our social media and on our website. We've got new filtration systems, and we're doing everything we can here in this building to keep our students safe and healthy because we want them here.
Okay, and this today, I mean, this has been a long time coming for you. Bittersweet, you've been working on this school for so long. It's a brand new middle school. It used to be the elementary, and you also went to elementary school here, so tell me about that.
So I started here in 1980 as a kindergartner, and so it is great coming back home. 22 years in education in middle school, and so seeing these two middle schools combined into this brand new facility is wonderful, not only for our children now, but for our future children. And this is just a great opportunity for D3, this district, these students. So it's a long time coming.
Right. And we know that there is a national material shortage. We know that that is kind of impacting some of the renovations here. So tell me a little bit about that.
We have everything we need to run school. We are a couple of soft chairs in a lobby area, but things that are coming in soon. But everything my teachers need and my students need to have school, it's here.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. And coming up in the next half hour, we're going to check in with Dr. Max's old teacher here. Of course, we'll keep you updated as school continues the first day today. Nicole?
Thanks, Lindsay. It's an exciting time, and it's a big week for school districts all across the upstate. Here's a look at all the districts heading back soon. Today, as we said, all Spartanburg County districts go back, along with Cherokee County and the elementary students in Oconee County. They all have their first day of classes. Tomorrow, the largest district in the state, Greenville County, starts, as well as all districts in Anderson County. In the meantime, students in Western North Carolina gear up for school this morning. Today, Graham, Haywood, Mitchell, Swain, Transylvania, and Yancey counties all welcome students back to class. Some of them may be getting soaked on their way in. We'll have to talk to Kylie now about your forecast.
Fox Carolina weather. Weather Rate certified most accurate local forecast.
Yeah, we'll be here every weekday morning with your bus stop forecast. Temperatures this morning starting out in the 60s in the mountains, 70s for the upstate. And this afternoon, it's going to be mild. It'll touch below where we should be for this time of year. We'll peak at 83 for the afternoon high temperature in the upstate, 78 degrees in the mountains. We're scattered rain showers and thunderstorms all day long. So keep the umbrella with you because the rain will just intensify heading into the overnight period. Right now in Asheville and Hendersonville, dealing with some heavier bursts of rain. Right now in Clemson, dealing with some of that rain as well. And here's a look at the flash flood warning. It's now for Transylvania County. It will expire at lunchtime today, but watch out for punting out on the roads. We'll have to watch out for mudslides. We'll talk to Chris in a little bit for an update there. But tracking the tropics, we have Fred still spinning in the Gulf of Mexico, where it could actually strengthen to a high-end tropical storm before it does make landfall around 8 o'clock tonight in the panhandle of Florida. It's moving north at 9 miles per hour, expected to take a northeasterly track. It will be impacting us here locally, and just because the center of circulation is not going to be directly over our region, we're still going to get copious amounts of rainfall from Fred for these next few days. So it's going to be making landfall tonight around 7 to 8 o'clock. Then it will continue to move up towards the north and east. The center of circulation in this time frame will be closer towards Atlanta. Heavy rain, though, will be expected for today, tomorrow, as well as Wednesday, all from the tropics. Then finally, we'll start to see some drier conditions for the second half of the work week. But until then, for these next 72 hours, rainfall totals could come in anywhere from about 3 to 5 inches. And some areas will be locally higher, especially across northeast Georgia. Could be closing in on 7 inches of rain over these next few days. So we're not done with the tropics there either. We are talking about Grace tropical depression right now. It's moving west at 15 miles per hour, and it will continue to stay on a westerly track, but could strengthen as early as tomorrow back to tropical storm status. It's not going to be impacting us here in the Carolinas as it is moving due west, and this one's going to be staying in the Atlantic as well. This is Tropical Depression H. Could become our next named storm system. We'll have to see, but Bermuda is getting impacted by that right now. Your 7-day forecast consisting of temperatures today, tomorrow, and Wednesday cooler than normal in the upper 70s to the lower 80s for the upstate, and the 70s will hold for the mountains before temperatures region-wide go back into the 80s starting on Thursday with less rain in the forecast. That will stretch all the way through the weekend. Let's